Hey everyone, welcome to Time Between Tracks here on Esteros once again. We just finished our pushback. We came to a agreement of sorts, but really it was just a matter of two vehicles becoming immobilized and their crews abandoning them. And I mentioned at the end of the playthrough, I do struggle with those times because I'm negotiating with myself, and it, I never feel quite right about putting things in my favor. But I think in this case, it was in my favor. I was going to win. These are mercenary companies. No crew is just going to stay in an immobilized vehicle and just wait to die. They're going to get out of there, and that means that those units are destroyed. And by doing that, we both achieve that objective. The Wolverine could just jump off in the next turn, and I would achieve all of my objectives. They would be unable to achieve the 75% cripple or destroy. And thinking back now in track one, I should have done the same thing with the Pegasus crew. Why did I just let them sit there and get killed? I would like to go back and redo that, but that would change the whole complexion of that mission. And who knows what would have happened if they went after something else. So we're just going to leave it as it is. It's just my own stupidity and lack of awareness of the rules. And just for anyone who's curious, I have page 165 open in tactical operations. It basically here just says during the end phase of any turn, a player may announce that the crew of a vehicle is abandoning it. The unit may not take any action during the subsequent turn, and you treat them as an infantry foot platoon. There was no need to do that because the mission ended right after it. All right, so I think we're all good there. Let's take a look at the track as I always do, just to go through the objectives. So our order as a defender was at least half of our surviving units. That's by number, so one of my units must make an attack on an enemy unit for 2 consecutive turns. We attacked every single turn, so we got that for 50. Make them hurt was our biggest objective. Cripple or destroy at least 50% of the attacker's starting force, and that's by battle value. So we're saying that both crews left the vehicles. That means they count as destroyed at that point. So we would achieve this. They would also achieve theirs, which is crush, to cripple or destroy at least 33% of our force. We both achieved that, so those are 400 points each. Advance to the rear means at least 50% of my defender's starting force by battle value. That would be the Wolverine. Retreats off their home edge between turn 6 and 10. We were just about to start turn 6. I would just jump the Wolverine off. And lead them to victory means complete the other 3 defender objectives and the commander survives. Obviously, if the Wolverine gets off the map, it survives. So I completed all of my objectives. On the attacker side, they achieved their order, which was just to have at least half of your surviving units, and that's by number, cross the center line. The Galleon and the Phoenix Hawk both did that. I don't remember if the Kit Fox did, but regardless, 2 of them did it, so they're good on that one. They also got push, which was 75% of their remaining force are in the half of the map closest to my home edge at the end of turn 4. The Kit Fox was dead, so just the Galleon and the Phoenix Hawk had to do that, and they did. I just mentioned they completed Crush because they technically destroyed the Manticore when I abandoned it, but they would not be able to achieve Gutted, which would be to destroy or cripple 75% of my force. The Wolverine's gone, so they won't be able to destroy it. So we're just going to say that that was not really an agreement, so to speak. It was just the logical conclusion of the mission. So if we go down to the bottom, salvage says both sides may claim salvage. Everything's put into a pool, and the successful player chooses first. That would be me. So I'm going to obviously choose the Manticore. That will be my salvage, so to speak. It's in great shape. They're going to choose their Galleon. Nobody has to pay any support points for that. We obviously have great salvage rights, but you don't have to salvage your own unit. We just get it back. They get their Galleon back. It's all good. Going up to the contract section for combat pay, and I know I do this every single video. I just do it for people who are learning along with me. For some of you, this is like so obvious, but that's fine. Just skip it if you don't care. I'm going to get the full 750, I believe, because I achieved all of my objectives. They would be unsuccessful and just get the 250 in that case. And again, just for teaching purposes, which I said I wasn't going to do, people are pointing out that I said I'm not going to teach anything, but I keep doing it. Here's the paragraph about negotiating. Again, I don't think of this as a mutual agreement. I think of it just as this is what would happen with the crews, and the mission just ends normally. Again, mercenary forces, not house forces. All right, so coming into my sheet, I'm going to go ahead and put in my victory here, 750 SPs. That is huge for us. Someone also pointed out to me, why do I write unsuccessful and successful in here? It should just be obvious by how many points I got. And that's very true. That's very true. All right, so I'm going to do name pilot SPs, and I'm just taking the full amount here, taking all 200, may as well when we have a good track like that. Now, who would I make the MVP? That's the real question. I think it would have to go to the Howlers again. I mean, Ruin did not destroy the Kit Fox. It was a strike. And the Manticore did disable the Galleon at the last moment, and that was important to making sure that we could win this because at first it got immobilized, and that would have been really bad if the Galleon could still move, but it made sure the Galleon could not. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, I don't think I did, but somebody pointed out that Almodesen was not really an active hiring hall in March 3151, like at the very start. It comes into play later. So I switched up my starting location to Kandersteg, and the jumps to Esteros are exactly the same, so it doesn't affect anything. But just to be more thematic, I went ahead and did that. All right, so both are going to get 100. So Ruin is going to go up to 325, and the Howlers are going to go up to 435. So they have 120 to play with. I'm going to throw it all into Gunnery. They're going to go up to 255 on Gunnery. That means they're really, really close to getting another Gunnery upgrade. So that's awesome. And then I think for the Wolverine, I would like to put that toward piloting because I think 200 gives them another piloting skill. Yeah, that's true. 200 gets them to three piloting. And I'd love to do that, even though I haven't been taking advantage of a better piloting skill. I haven't really gone into physical combat. I couldn't really do it so much in this mission because I lost initiative almost every time. And I really just had to keep him away from stuff. But eventually that will come into play more. I'm gonna put 35 of it into that. I'm gonna get his piling down to 3. I'll redo the handicap here in just a minute. And that would leave me with 65, I believe. So I'll go ahead and put 60 in edge ability and then 5 in gunnery. And that'll give him an edge ability so I can look up something there. I would like to do something with melee, I think. That would be awesome. All right, so let me do the handicap real quick. The upgraded piloting is another 4, and the edge ability is another 2. So he's going to go up by 6 now. So he'll be up to a 12. I really do like the progression in this. I feel like it's very gradual. Like you feel like you're earning it, and it's not so fast that these pilots become super great right away. But it's fast enough that you don't feel like it's dragging. Like you have to constantly grind for these points. It just feels like it's a good pace. I think they really nailed it with this system. Yeah, I think I'm going to take melee specialist. So after rolling for a physical, or well, that's for alpha strike, spend 1 edge to reroll. I think I'm going to go ahead and take that. Awesome. Okay, as for repairs, they're going to be real easy here. Nothing too crazy. As I showed at the end of the playthrough, they both just have armor damage. There's the Wolverine, just armor damage. They were getting close to getting internal, but they never did. And the Manticore just has armor damage. It does have serious motive hits, but those are repaired with armor. So this is just armor repair across the board. I don't have any support for that. Oh, I do. Sorry, I keep forgetting that. I do have a little bit of support for repairs. So 20%. So the Wolverine is a 55-ton mech, so that's going to cost 55 support points to repair. They're going to cover 11. The Manticore is a 60-ton vehicle. Their costs are cut in half, so there's only 30 to repair it, and they'll cover 6 of that. I don't think I'm going to rearm anything. I'll see what the next track is, but the Wolverine ended with all of its SRM ammo because it never fired it, and 12 Ultra AC. I think that's enough. I mean, that's enough to get through 6 rounds or so. And the Manticore has 7 LRMs left and 14 streaks. I don't really see any reason to rearm right now. I think we're okay. So that is going to take us into May 3151. This will be the final month of the contract. I'm going to pay my maintenance costs. Just going to copy what I did before here. And then let's see if we play any tracks. No, I don't want meeting engagement. It's not a guarantee that I will. I'm back here on the Esteros track table. I'm going to roll 1d6 twice. That'll tell me which tracks we're going to play. If I re-roll something I've already done, we don't play it. So if I end up rolling like a 2 and a 5 or a 2 and a 6, we just won't play any tracks. All right, here is the first track. 5. We already played that track. If I go back, that's a meeting engagement. We already played that one. So at most, we'll play 1 track. And a 2. I think we played that one as well. Yep, that's objective raid. All right, we're not going to play any tracks. We're just going to kind of end this contract. I don't think anyone's victorious. Wow, what a lame time between tracks. We didn't even get another one. So it says, other side, whichever player has successfully completed more tracks after the 3rd month is the winner. Well, we both did. I swear, every time I do this, I have to go ask questions because then I don't know what to do. They were successful once, we were successful once, and the first track, nobody was successful. So I don't know if we get reputation or not. That's too bad. We should have just had one more track. But of course, that could end unsuccessfully for both sides. Hey, okay, well, we're not playing any tracks this month, so it's time to pick a new hotspot. But let me see what I'm supposed to do about this in terms of victory. All right, I didn't see anything on the Discord about what to do in this situation. I'm going to assume nobody wins and there's no reputation bump, but I'm asked and I'm going to see what everybody has to say. It feels like it's just amazing how many situations you run into where I just don't know it. I mean, I've played this a lot now, I feel, but there's still so many things that come up where it's, I don't know, this is not really in the book what you're supposed to do, and it's not necessarily something that's been asked, and I can't always find the answer. But in any case, I cleared out the repairs. I'm going to leave the ammo as it is for now. I think we'll be okay for whatever track we end up playing next. I'll take armor out of there. And then what I'm going to do is before I end up leaving and choosing a different hotspot, I'm going to roll for purchases just to see if I'm going to buy anything. Let me roll to see if anything is available. I think I have to roll a 6 or higher. Okay, that's a 7. Let me double check that. Yeah, on a 6 plus, there is a mech for sale. On a 10 plus, there are two. So I would, this is for the last month that I played. I held off on rolling because I said I wasn't sure what I would do. So I'm going to get two opportunities here. So this is for the first month, which by the way, I updated this to be along with the actual timeline in the book. So there were no hotspots until April. So my first month is April, then May, then June. Doesn't matter, but I just updated to figure that out. So this is May that I'm rolling. So let me roll 1d6 now and see which of these mechs is available. One, the Commando 7S. Now that's good because it's not super expensive, but I'm guessing it's probably not that great of a mech. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. I mean, no armor, just like a good commando. But dang, it has a lot of missiles, a couple medium lasers. So that would round out our force, I think, right? That would get us pretty close to the battle value limit. I honestly think it's the only unit on that list that would allow us to do that. Yeah, that would get us to 3330. I kind of want to do it. I mean, I would like to eventually, I don't know where I'm going next. And I don't necessarily want to make decisions based on, reading which hotspot and whether I can purchase another vehicle or something. So I kind of feel like I'm going to buy it. Maybe take this opportunity because honestly, anything else on that list would put me over the limit. Even the fire starter at 900 something, I think would put me over the limit. So I think I'm just going to take advantage while I can, and I'm going to go ahead and buy this, and I'll buy a crew for it or a pilot. Sorry, buy a pilot for it. Now the question is, do I hire a nameless mech warrior or do I hire a name pilot? I'm kind of inclined to just hire a generic one because the chances of this person surviving in a commando is pretty low. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and hire a generic one. That's going to be 100. And there we go. We've got ourselves a new unit. All right. Nothing super great, but it is what it is. I'll take it. So that will end the contract. Again, I'll figure out if I get any reputation or not. That's the only thing that would change here is if we end up winning the contract somehow. I don't know what the reasoning for that would be. But otherwise, we're going to go off and find another hotspot. So I'm going to take a look at the hotspots and see where I'm thinking. Starting in July, that's where we would go here in July 3051. There's a lot more hotspots available. So I have way more choices. So I'm going to find one that sounds really fun. It's not too far away. Again, kind of going with the pirate theme, trying to find a not so great person or not so great faction that I'd like to align with. And then I'll come back and let you know what I decided. All right, I checked out the map and I looked at the nearby hotspots. I read a little bit about each one of them. And I think we're going to go ahead and jump this direction and head over to Mississauga or Massasauga, as the book calls it in certain places, which I guess reflects the real place in Canada. I'm going to call it Mississauga. But in any case, this one looked fun. It's like a corporation kind of hiding the political actions of somebody, and then another corporation is trying to stop them. I'll show you the preview in just a minute here. But the other one I was thinking about was Chahar, but this looks like another rolla track, and I'd like to do something a little bit different. So Mississauga has a list of tracks that you play, it's just set. But depending on the outcome, there's different things that happen, benefits that you'll get if you're successful. So that sounded pretty cool to me. These are the two contracts that are available. I'm taking, so here it says Massasauga. I'm going to take that one, the Rattler contract. And this is with Duchess Sybil. I'm not even going to try to say the last name, but it's kind of like a two-pronged thing here. So she is a native Lyran, and there's this local branch of this Red Devil Industries. And so she wants to retake the family business, which she has done. And then it kind of makes it sound like, oh, she just it just has the best interests of the planet at heart. But then down here when you read, it tells you about oh, they have this contract with these generous terms because they're trying to take the throne of the Kent province here. And so there's this other motivation that they're using. So this industry or this company is kind of like the front for what she's really trying to do. Then on the other side, we have Graf Archibald, who it says inherited his rule of the same province by birth. And there's this company called the Quick Cell Company that is willing to help to maintain this and fend off the Red Devils, the Duchess here. So I don't know. I thought this sounded really interesting, and I'm going to take the Red Devil side. I mean, it definitely sounds like she's up to something, not being totally straightforward with what her actual motivations are. So that sounds perfect for what we're going for here. I'm trying to take the sleazy people here, or at least what I perceive as their sleazy, unscrupulous activities. And so I'm going to go with that one. Has a better contract, in my opinion, as well. Straight 100% support, 100% base pay, good transportation, not so great salvage, but it does have liaison rights, whereas the other one is integrated. And it actually even calls it out here that it's unusual that this is an integrated contract because it's technically through a company that's participating. Anyway, taking the Red Devil side, I went ahead and put all the information in here. My negotiation was to bump support up to battle 10%. I haven't had so much luck here with my units, so I'd like to have some protection if we lose one. The only problem is another one where there's not a lot of options to purchase something. I'll have to look in the Hinterlands supplemental and see if there is something about this particular hotspot. But in general, I just want to have that option if we were to lose a unit to be able to replace it. So I decided to do that. I already had base pay 100%, so I'm pretty good with that. Now, as far as the track goes, the first one is a breakthrough. I'll show you the table in a minute. You can play it on any grasslands map. That's what it says. So I'll pick one. I'll probably do the one with the road in it because I have all the hex tech hills that fit right on top of it. It really is nice to have the paper map and just put the terrain right on top of it. That is very nice. But I only have so many maps where I can actually do that exactly as it is on the map. Here's the table. The first mission is called Landing Zone. The first month, we don't do anything. Month two, you start the first track. It is a breakthrough. I am the attacker. I like that because that tends to be the easier side, I think, on one map sheet. I'm debating whether I would bring the Manticore or maybe just take the Wolverine and the Commando and just see if we can run them across. There are no temporary hires in this hotspot. So I was thinking I could take those two and then maybe grab a temp hire just to run through there. But yeah, there aren't any. So I don't think you can do that. You can see the other tracks that you'll play. The third and fourth one are optional, it says. You can choose to play those. I guess the attacker decides. That would be us. So I don't know. We'll see what happens when we get there. On the map sheet, the first mission says any grasslands. Like I said, I'll probably do the one with the road going through it because I have all the matching terrain. So all I need to do is roll up command complications, and then I need to roll up an opposing force. I'm going to do the same thing. I'll pick an opposing force from the table, and then I'll just manage that force loosely in the background. Again, I'm not really tracking their SPs or anything, but just generally giving them some flexibility. But I like them having a static force that I can make progress against, since they can do it against me. All right, let's roll these up. I'll go first and then I'll let them. We have a liaison. We're getting a +1 to this roll. Ooh, that's good. Just a two. So two says Quickcell or Red Devil have provided additional vehicular support. Players may select an additional 16 BSPs worth of vehicle BSP support for the mission. Okay. So I could probably do the same thing, just convert that to battle value and maybe pick one vehicle. That would work. Okay, cool. I like that. I think that's the first time I got a positive complication. All right, they're going to roll. They get a +3. Oh, they also rolled a one. This is weird. This is like the second time now I've rolled duplicates. So it says the player's forces have received conflicting commands. After deployment, their opponent may change the facing of half their opponent's force to any hex sides desired. You know what? That's really awesome because I'm pretty sure the defender in a breakthrough has to deploy on the map. So I can turn them all around and make them spend more movement points to come after me. Whoa, cool. All right, let me put those in my sheet. All right, there we go. Now, if I go back to the beginning of the behind the scenes, it says both sides will be player controlled mercenaries. So this means I would play against a mercenary force. I'll use the same table as before. I'm not going to pick the same set of units. I'm not going to do that Phoenix Hawk one. So I'll definitely roll up something different. All right, here we are, still at scale one. You know what? I don't think I remember the last time the opposing force type modifiers. I need to go check that. I don't know if it's for the track. I think it actually is. But I feel like they're probably garrison. They're like protecting this. Yeah, we're just going to go with garrison. I think that makes the most sense. All right, let's give it a go. What's going on with Google's random 1d6 roller? Another one? This probably isn't going to work. They get a commando, a spider, 3 tracked APCs, 3. See, I'm probably going to have to change something here because they can't really do this. Like if they have 3 APCs, they can only bring 3 units to the track. So, that's not really going to work. I guess, I don't know. I guess this is why you just play with the BSPs because then you can do all this stuff and it doesn't matter. Maybe I'll give them one of the mechs then and we'll just deal with it that way. I got my contract all set up, got the track going, did all my stuff. You can see here I did the maintenance for the first month. and which was paid by travel because it's 4 jumps. So I had to use the travel term to pay for that. They only paid 75%. Did my travel. Again, they paid 75% of that. Then I did my first month of maintenance here on contract. Actually, you know what? I need to add another one here. Yeah, because that first month there, I gotta expand this. All right, yeah, because that first month there in August, so technically July was not on contract. That was just a month of travel. I have to pay maintenance for that. Then the first month of the contract was August. Nothing happens, so I have to pay maintenance for that month. Now we're into September, and I'll pay maintenance again, and then we're gonna do our track. All right, we are ready to rock. Looking forward to playing another hotspot. I did enjoy the last one. I mean, it was just that randomly roll a track thing. There was nothing necessarily unique about the tracks, but as usual, BattleTech had a way of telling the story, and the first mission kind of went to crap at the end. I had to bring in a temporary hire. She gets her head blown off. Then we play this pushback that's like really back and forth. It comes down to the wire, but we finally pull it out. And that's just what makes it so much fun. So it's this behind the scenes stuff. Are there temporary hires available? Are there any twists? What purchases can you make? It just does a nice job of throwing some stuff at you that makes it really interesting. And it is definitely easier playing an ilClan here, and I'm enjoying it. I'm having quite a lot of fun. Hope you are too. So now we're going to get into our next hotspot, and we got to do a lot better. I think I've learned some lessons about how I handle the vehicles, and I'm hoping that I can put them to use this time and not be stupid. All right, as always, let me know if you have any questions or comments or suggestions. I probably need a lot of them. Thanks for watching.